Chainsaw Massacre is the horizon of horror films, not due to its disturbing or violent nature, but due to what it reveals about America, the human race, and the layers of repression that keeps everything hidden. The film is covered in this dirt and grime that once cleaned away, the meaning is released, even betrayed by the horror that kept it hidden. The repression is one of death, not death of one person, not death of everyone, but death of everything. Nature, ideas, purpose, entropy on the grandest scale. This is why cosmic horror is the perfect genre representation for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Cosmic horror is the end game for horror, the beginning of the end of everything. The void, the endless corridor, the abyss and darkness. Now with that said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre seems to be far from cosmic horror due to its documentary style, but it's much closer than you might think. The film was your standard slasher film with teenagers being killed off one by one, but with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there seemed to be something else going on underneath the surface. There will be spoilers, so please go watch the original if you haven't already. Otherwise, let's get to a quick edit of the original trailers to get us started before going deeper.
What happened was true. This is the movie that is just as real, just as close, just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is Tobe Hooper's 1974 horror masterpiece. A film that works as a gritty faux documentary, but also as a nightmare landscape of American capitalism and cosmic horror. The fabric of American life and history covers the film, everything from capitalism, colonial wars like Vietnam, and holding on to a past that has betrayed them. The family created their world of blood and darkness due to the abandonment of modern society, which ultimately led to the creation of these cosmic monsters. The film was a trendsetter for slasher films from Friday the 13th to Halloween, which were still years away. The Gallo films in Italy were already releasing, and Psycho was 14 years old. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was something entirely different. The film also had a strong influence on the found footage movement, with films like The Cannibal Holocaust and The Blair Witch Project. This is why the idea of Texas Chainsaw Massacre being under a fantasy cosmic horror genre seems strange, since the main aesthetic focus of the film is to look like a reality-based documentary. Now, I first saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre late night on HBO. I caught it at the midway point, which is a crazy time to come in since everything after is pure madness. But there was something about the film that stayed with me. The characters, the texture, the style, the ending, all of it felt dangerous, transgressive, and more importantly, like something else was underneath the surface. Like there was a deeper meaning that I wasn't catching on to. I already saw the sequel, and the sequel is good for what it is, which is pure satire, but the original always had something else. Obviously, the film made an impression on me, but it was the ending that really stood out. There was something nihilistic and transgressive about the ending. Leatherface dancing with the chainsaw against the sunrise, while Sally's driven away into madness. It felt darker, occult-like, supernatural, and even cosmic. Now let's review the cosmic horror subgenre and its connection to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Basic definition of cosmic horror is the premise that common human laws and values have no validity or significance in the vast cosmos at large. Cosmic horror can be found in the stories of H.P. Lovecraft, who's one of the originators of the genre, and films like The Thing and The Lighthouse. Some elements found in cosmic horror: fear of the unknown, sanity is fragile, and a general disregard of humanity. Now, cosmic horror might feel foreign from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, since it has a strong documentary style with use of the film stock and a storyline and aesthetic that pushes the true story narrative. But what is interesting is the undercurrent of the occult and supernatural that runs throughout the film. The sense of cosmic horror is layered into Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The film has this atmosphere of hyper-reality that complements this idea of cosmic horror. The opening credits is the first indicator of cosmic horror. Sunspots are the background for the credits, with a drone sound coming through against a news report. Ancient cultures, especially ones with a focus on the sun, which they saw as an unflawed deity, found sunspots unsettling. Observation of sunspots can be interpreted as a symbol of imperfection, of deviation from the ideal. Sunspot cycles can link to earthly events and even human behavior. The drone sound can invoke unease and tension, but it's the content from the radio broadcast that really stands out. Murder, mutilation, abuse, storms playing havoc with technology, collapse of buildings, and violence around the world. The radio broadcast foreshadows the horrors to come, but also works as a symbol of a society unraveling. The idea is that this horror and violence is becoming commonplace and grounds the story in reality like the opening crawl. Society's crumbling and the end days are here. The next scene dealing with cosmic horror symbolism is Pam reading the horoscope.
Retrogradation is contrary or inharmonious to the regular direction of actual movement in the zodiac, and is in that respect evil. Hence, when malefic planets are in retrograde, and Saturn's malefic, okay, their malefice is increased.
Have you been doing those Reader's Digest word power columns you get?
Jerry, it just means Saturn's a bad influence. It's just particularly a bad influence now because it's in retrograde. Upsetting persons around you could make this disturbing and unpredictable day. The events in the world are not doing much either to cheer one up.
Horoscopes and their predictions here work as symbols that represent the chaos to come. Now, it doesn't matter if you believe in astrology, since this all works as subtext and metaphor underneath the surface. This point is also interesting due to something unnatural has its control over this reality. Saturn is the great malefic, known for its serious, cold, and sometimes harsh and evil influence. It is the planet that rules time, karma, responsibility, and wisdom. Saturn is the master architect of the zodiac by representing the way we respond to authority, status, and discipline against the pressure of burden, fear, and frustration. Saturn in retrograde can suggest that the father figure was absent or involved in such a way that precluded our ability to develop self-esteem and inner security. It can also represent suffering from repressed fears, feelings of inadequacy, and a nagging sense that despite our best efforts, we could have done more, better, or different. The presence of the occult is felt throughout the film. This is first represented by the hitchhiker scene, which is a harbinger of the evil that waits. The hitchhiker scene at the beginning plays as an occult blood ritual hidden as a random strange encounter. The hitchhiker first takes Franklin's picture, which is signified in past cultures as capturing one's soul, and the burning of the picture can represent death. The hitchhiker's medicine bag also adds to the idea of him being a makeshift shaman. He then cuts himself and Franklin, symbolizing their fated blood connection. He marks their van accordingly with the blood, the symbol either representing an occult sign or the visitors being marked for identification. This scene foreshadows the coming darkness and lays the groundwork for the disorder on the horizon. Outside of that scene, there are multiple signs of the occult throughout the film, starting with the bone monument and leading to multiple bone structures and statues. The theme of the occult is hiding in plain sight. Throughout the film, there's this theme of nature overpowering the modern world and taking back the natural world. The moon and sun both have a strong presence. There are multiple wide shots that show the characters' small and large environments. There are shots of dead animals and a nest of spiders taking back abandoned houses. Nature's laws and needs have no concern with the human presence. The characters do invade the space and are marked accordingly. This point emphasizes that the natural world has no concern for humanity and will take back its territory when it's being entrenched or violated. The moon and sun both have a strong presence in the film and stand as totems or icons for nature's power. They dwarf humans and their world. Ultimately, nature's laws and needs have no concern with humans and their institutions. The main symbol for Texas Chainsaw Massacre is Leatherface, who stands as the black hole within the Texas wasteland. He is the Lovecraftian cosmic humanoid monster, grotesque and brutal. His large frame is misshapen, and his skin mask is horrifying, like something not of this world. Even the steel door in the house feels foreign. His voice squeaks like a pig, strange and alien. Leatherface is an icon, symbolizes the world's forgotten man. Left behind by society, he initially wears his old work outfit, a stripped collared shirt, a yellow apron, and an asymmetrical tie. His work outfit's still active after being let go at his slaughterhouse job. This represents his place in the world as he's looking for his identity in the American nuclear family. He tries out his mother identity during the dinner scene, looking for a role in this new world. He ultimately turns himself into a monster trying to survive. In his initial appearance, his movements are more nervous than aggressive. He is fearful due to the trespassing, and this highlights the point that it's the family being invaded, almost like a wild animal that only gets aggressive when engaged. His tool is the chainsaw, which represents the duality at the heart of Leatherface. The chainsaw objectively is a useful tool, but in Leatherface's hands, it becomes the instrument of chaos. Leatherface is a hidden cosmic monster, cut off from the world, ready to emerge when engaged or challenged. He's Cthulhu, hidden in the Texas landscape. The family represents the conservative mindset, workers, tradition, and a patriarchal family structure, while the visitors represent the liberal framework, astrology, hippie lifestyle, and a friend group with little structure. This mirrors the different sides of the Vietnam War protests and the gap between the youth and the establishment. Mere logic is the resonance of the film and sets the frame for cosmic horror. It slowly seeps into the film. At first it's minimal, but it grows as the film goes on. As the night falls, logic disappears and the film takes on the structure of a nightmare. Sally keeps running in circles as she tries to escape, but keeps on ending up at the gas station or house. The nightmare logic pulls and traps Sally within this cursed landscape. The absurdity starts to color the film with the brothers arguing and the dinner scene. Close-ups of eyeballs and deranged faces add to the nightmare. The older brother clarifies their position, which they state is out of necessity instead of cruelty.
You don't understand nothing.
I understand you ain't nothing. Me and him do all the work.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like it.
Grandpa is another example of the supernatural. He looks like a corpse brought back to life. This goes back to the idea that the victims are just food for the family and it's not personal. The family has no interest or care for Sally and her friends, which falls perfectly in the description of cosmic horror. The ending is this apocalyptic Mobius strip of Texas heat, irony, and aggression. The sunrise light signifying a new day and dissolving the old one, dissolving the old world. The new world is postmodern, no longer concerned with repression. Everything is visible, the end is here. Early morning light before the sunrise, silence broken by the shattered window glass. The light is jarring due to the night disappearing. The ending is chaotic and flows like a fever dream. It is a surreal and at times ironic sense of humor, like with the Black Maria driver who was also hauling cattle, hitting the hitchhiker. The lore around Black Maria is widely believed to have originated from a 19th century black woman named Maria Lee in Boston. She helped local police by subduing unruly individuals and carrying them off to prison. It's fitting that the Black Maria driver runs over the hitchhiker since the whole family could be considered criminals, but also works as a symbol for the animals being led to their death the same way that Sally and her friends had been carted off to their deaths. Most of the scene takes place in third person and in a distance like the other nature elements. One of the exceptions is Leatherface's attack at the back of the truck. In this shot, Leatherface takes on the form of an unrelenting force of nature, centered in the frame, coming out of the abyss with full authority and aggression. Sally's final sequence is a perfect indicator for the sanity as fragile cosmic horror rule. She is now left in an absurd state where laughter is her only recourse. Her reaction from fear to laughter due to the madness all around is the definite symbol of the loss of sanity. The final shots are a celebration of chaos and destruction. He is that cosmic monster with no regard for humanity. No concern with the multiple people escaping and his brother being killed. As Sally is driven away into madness, Leatherface takes his ultimate place in nature and the cosmos. Frustration, aggression, and finally celebration as he dances against the sunrise. There's also a lack of consequences for the family and Leatherface, which is another sign of cosmic horror. In other horror films, there's the defeat of the antagonist who will come back for one last scare. This signifies that evil can be stopped, but only for the time being. It will be back. Texas Chainsaw Massacre's message is much darker. Evil cannot be stopped, and if you encounter it, you'll be the one changed by the event. Now, the ending makes you feel like going down the wrong Texas back road could lead you to Leatherface, whipping around his chainsaw, unmoving, uncaring, a pure cosmic monster.